We all know that supervisors need to take on a more active role when it comes to safety, but they have a ton of other responsibilities too. This sometimes leaves safety tasks being put off for last and likely never getting done. So today I want to share some tips on how to get your frontline leaders to take more accountability when it comes to safety. Let's get to it. Hey there, safety friends. Welcome to the Safety Geek Podcast. At the Safety Geek, you will learn how to manage an effective safety program that increases your management support and employee engagement, all the while helping you elevate your position and move up in your career. If you're ready to step into the role of a safety influencer, you're in the right place, my friend. Let's get to it. Hello, my safety friends. I hope you are staying warm during the start of the winter season. Honestly, it makes me enjoy living in Florida even more, even though every winter I say I need to move further south because we do still get some 32-degree mornings like we had a couple of weeks ago that I'm like, no, too cold for me. Alrighty, so let's get to it. So the one thing that I advocate for is that safety enforcement and implementation comes from within that employee's line of power. Some people like to call that a chain of command. I call it a line of power. It's somebody who has authority over them. Likely, this would be their frontline supervisors. And as you are creating your safety management systems, you may have gotten to the point where your executive team agrees with you and safety tasks are being given to the supervisors. But now, are you struggling to get them to actually do them? So today, I want to share with you some of the ways that you can shift this and start to truly partner with your frontline supervisors to get them to do these tasks in one way, shape, or form. So let's get to it. Alrighty, so let's say that you are expecting your frontline supervisors to lead safety trainings or conduct safety observations or complete department or equipment inspections, coach employees, do your accident investigations. All of these things that we teach you to shift to supervisors inside of Safety Management Academy, that these are the things that supervisors should be doing because they are in the line of power and they are the ones that are more likely to have all the information needed to do these tasks. But what we have to realize is that supervisors have other responsibilities too. They have to answer to production quotas, to quality, to finance, to HR, to maintenance. They are pulled in a lot of directions. So if you want them to complete your safety tasks, then you need to make this an easy button for them. We want them to feel that the safety responsibilities that they have are the easiest part to get done, and they will always prioritize them. So I have 5 tips for you that we are going to break down in today's episode. Tip number 1 is make safety part of how they do their job. It's not an added task that you're giving them. It's just something that they have to do in order to do their job. So you have to show them how to do these things when they are doing something else. It's like you're bundling it with the other work that they're doing. So for example, if they're already doing a pre-shift meeting every day, adding 5 minutes to talk about safety is not a big ask, especially if you are feeding them the topics to talk about. Now, if they already have to talk to their employees every day, adding in 1 or 2 sentences or questions to do a little bit of safety coaching is not a big ask, right? If they're already walking around and looking at production levels and how their employees are working, doing a quick inspection too is not a lot to ask, especially if you can make the paperwork really easy that goes along with it. A lot of times the problem with these things is that we add a lot of documentation to prove that the supervisor did it. Well, honestly, just like how we prove understanding of training by observing the employees after the training, you could observe your supervisors in that way to prove that they are doing what they should be doing. So keep your documentation to a minimum because that does make their job a little bit harder. For example, they don't need to document every coaching session with the employees, but you do want them to document formal observations. They don't need to have a detailed inspection form, but maybe you can give them a quick link that they can just take a picture and write what they found and send it off for a work order to be created or as a reminder for them to finish when they get back to their desk. So make it an easy button for them. All right, number 2 is to mix safety tasks with quality and operations tasks. So you don't have a separate safety checklist. You add safety items to the checklists that they're already using. You don't have safe work procedures. You have SOPs that include safety, operations, and quality. So how you do the job just includes safety. And this is extremely important in making safety part of how business is done. A lot of times we put the word safety in front of everything or make safety a separate entity, and that then separates it in their mind as well as something that they can disregard. But if the SOP says that they have to follow this step, then that's just how the job is done. It's not a safe work practice. It's just the work practice. And there's been a lot of discussion lately that I have seen in LinkedIn and other things about safety software and safety tools that we can use to collect this data and these inspections and all of that. And I almost feel like it's the same thing, that you're better off using the software or the tools that the supervisors and departments already use. How can you integrate safety into them as opposed to making safety a separate tool that they have to use? And then as you are adding these things to their checklists or their procedures or their tools, you always want to be sure to explain how this safety task improves quality and operations too. Always use those leaders to help ensure that it's completed. So when you say to somebody like, I need you to add these items to your checklist, yes, they are safety items, but honestly, this is going to improve the impact on quality as well. Or yes, they are safety items, but this is going to improve operations as well. Really sell it to them as to why it needs to be part of their current process. Now, number 3, as a safety lead, you need to shadow supervisors on a regular basis and point out areas that they can easily adjust to improve safe practices within their department. You want to show them how complying with safety policies and procedures and doing these tasks and filling out these checklists, whatever it is you have them doing, you want to show them how it is an easy button. And I do recommend that you do this regularly. I think every new person should do it immediately, but then on a regular basis, if you shadow somebody, once every 2 weeks or once a month and you switch which supervisor it is, it actually gives you a sense of the pressure that they're under. And it gives you a better perspective when you're trying to add more tasks to that supervisor. And it gives you the opportunity to find those areas that you can mix safety in or make safety as part of their job, right? And it helps you develop your programs better. But what it also does is show the supervisors your true expectations and then how focusing on safety makes their job easier. And number 4 is you want to utilize employees. So you might want to have employees coach each other. You might want to have employees lead trainings. You might want to have employees inspect their areas, or employees do initial accident investigations with the supervisor as the guide overseeing all this, right? So examples of this might be the employees lead the toolbox talks, or employees lead the warm up for work sessions, or employees are your equipment trainers. Like, I never did forklift training. I sent an employee to be the trainer because supervisors didn't have time to do it either. So we had employee champions who were our trainers, right? Employees could be the mentors and the trainers for new hires. Employees can do the inspections of their work areas. So you just need to develop systems for your supervisors to then verify their work. So now you're not adding the work to the supervisor. You're building leaders of tomorrow in your employees and spreading the work out between many employees. This is one of the things that you might get some pushback on, because then they'll say, well, I can't spare my employee to do that inspection. But if you're only asking for 10 minutes a week, that is not a big ask. And it's a lot easier for them to say yes to that. And it's, well, the employee's already in the area, and that stops the supervisor from having to do it. You can even play on the hourly rate. Would you rather pay somebody $45 an hour to do this, or the employee who's making $25 an hour, or whatever it happens to be, right? So I think you can compromise with your management team to involve the employees more. And this is actually the better way of doing it, because this improves employee engagement. And then it is creating your leaders of tomorrow, not just with your employees, but also with your supervisors, because your supervisors now need to gain the skill of overseeing other leaders, right? You're not a leader until you develop a leader who's developed a leader, right? So you're giving them that opportunity to develop their leadership skills as well. And you don't lose that much in the process. You always want to have backups on this, right? You're doing your quarterly inspections. So you're not just relying on these employee inspections. You're verifying the training of new hires because you're doing department assessments, right? You're actually sending employees to train the trainer courses, or you're training the employees to train, and you're delivering the materials for the toolbox talks, or you're training them to do the warm up for work sessions. So there are some controls in there, but you really need to let go of the fact that you have to be the one doing everything, but then also let go of the fact of, like, yes, it should be coming from the supervisor, but it's also okay if he delegates it to employees, or he or she delegates it to employees. It's perfectly fine for that to happen. But as long as the supervisor is the facilitator, like they are the expert at it, and they're verifying that the work is getting done to meet the expectation, I think this is the absolute best way to go. All right, now number 5 is to conduct regular supervisor meetings, where you share in these meetings. I would recommend you do them at least once a month. You share the safety statistics and their impact on the overall production goals for each supervisor. So you can break it down by department, you can break it down by shift, comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges. It is basically the same type of overview that you would do in an executive advisory committee. Side note, if you're not in Safety Management Academy, that is something that we teach you to set up, that your executive advisory committee is your decision-making team. And they are basically the ones setting the commitment to safety. And in that meeting, we regularly share stats and trending data and analytics, because we're moving the needle with the business. When it comes to supervisors, they're not going to care as much about return on investment, but what they will care about is their production goals and what they will achieve. So a lot of supervisors are given efficiency and production goals and quality goals. And if they hit them, they get bonuses and can make their department shine. So find out what your supervisor's goals are and then attach your safety statistics to them. That when they improved their coaching, you saw a bump in their productivity. When they were completing their inspections, we saw a bump in efficiency. In these meetings, you want to highlight all the trends and you want to sort it by supervisor. It'll create a little bit of competition between your supervisors as well, and a little bit of teamwork, because you can have them share stories. How did you get your production numbers up this month? Or what happened that the efficiency numbers went down or the quality numbers went down? So you can have them share stories. You can highlight what each supervisor is doing right. You can give them a focus area for the next month. And you can even add in some training. This is where I would take the opportunity to train my supervisors on effective coaching, on accident investigations, on how to properly correct people, all different things. If you want your supervisors to be completing your safety tasks, they need to understand the impact of those safety tasks. Now, previously, you might have only been sharing them with the management team, but having this regular supervisor meeting helps them actually see that doing this work makes an impact. A lot of times people don't do tasks you give them because they don't find them valuable. They need to understand what is going to happen with that data and with that paperwork that you're having them fill out. So those are my 5 tips. Make safety part of how they're doing their job and not an added thing to do. Mix your safety tasks with quality and operational tasks. Shadow your supervisors regularly and point out areas where they can easily adjust. Utilize employees to lead training, inspections, and all those tasks, and conduct regular supervisor meetings. So the most important thing is to know the goals that your supervisors want to reach, and then connecting those dots on how safety helps them reach those goals. Because we all know that when you focus on safety, their job will actually get easier. But they need to experience that for themselves, and it sometimes takes you to be connecting those dots. And you have to just show them that it's an easy button. Alrighty, my safety friend, that is what I have for you this week. If you like this, please make sure you're subscribed so that way you don't miss an episode. And if you can also do me a quick favor, can you go on to whatever app you're using to listen to this podcast and leave a review? It really helps other people find the show and helps us get our message out there, because we are on a mission to elevate the role of safety in the workplace. And when we do this together, we are both going to shine. So thank you so much. I will chat with you next week. Bye for now. Hey, if you're just getting started in safety, or you've been at this for a while and are hitting a roadblock, then I want to invite you to check out Safety Management Academy. This is my in-depth online course that not only teaches you the processes and strategies of an effective safety management program, but how to entwine management support and employee participation throughout your processes. Are you ready to finally understand exactly what you should be doing and ditch that safety police hat forever? Then you have got to join me and your fellow safety scholars over at Safety Management Academy. Just go to thesafetygeek.com/SMA to learn more and to get started. That's thesafetygeek.com/SMA. And I will see you in our next Students Only live session. Bye for now.